Hi guys, it's Bottom Tier Collector or BTC or whatever, and don't change the channel. You came to the right place. This is a new video and I'm back, I think.
What is this garbage? And why am I not in it?
Alright guys, so it's been a while and I still have the 2024 rundown video in the memory banks, and I'm going to get to it eventually. I've been sitting on that video for a while because just 2024 was hard for me, and I'm just kind of ready to move on from 2024. It was a stinky year, but you know, we're on to better and brighter things in life. And I'm so excited to get on camera. I feel like I'm in a good mental state for this. I'm ready to come back. Now I want to thank all you guys who look at my stories and message me and have kept me in the Instagram chats. I haven't been supporting as much. I haven't been watching as much comic book YouTube. It's just when things, when shit hits the fan, comics, and I think a lot of people resonate with this. Comics just tend to feel to me more like a luxury, a guilty pleasure, something I can't really appreciate when I feel like I need to take more responsibility in my life. So I'm not done with comics. I'm not putting it down. I just don't know how I feel about the hobby right now. But the season is kicked off. I call it the season because I always tend to slow down purchasing comics during the holidays, you know, saving money for presents and less about me, more about others kind of thing. And usually around the weekend of January 20th, which is one of my best friend's birthdays, me and my buddies. I think I've mentioned this before for you longtime viewers, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it again. Me and my four of my longest buddies, for his birthday, go to Nashville, Tennessee. It's about a 2-hour interstate shot direct north up I-65 for me. So even though I live in Alabama, it's really not that far of a drive. And we always make a day of it. You know, we go eat at a buffet till we're sick, and we visit the Great Escape in Rick's Comic City. And we used to go to McKay's, but we don't go to McKay's anymore. McKay's is just really chaotic and it's hard to get in the groove. It's much easier to hunt at the Great Escape and Rick's Comic City. And I bought a lot of books. The comic book season has started for me. I got a lot to cover in this haul, so just bear with me. We're gonna get through it. But before we get started, Lobo, like I need to do a Lobo video. Jason Momoa has officially announced he's Lobo, and I've done like a spec Lobo video before in the past, but I think it's appropriate to update that, and because I think there's a lot of minor keys Lobo has that people interested in getting in the character. Now, if you're going to spec on these books, probably wouldn't be worth it outside of his key and maybe some of his most rarest comics, if you're aware of what his most rarest comics are. However, I still would like to do that. It's just an opportunity to talk about my favorite character. And then, I don't know if I told you guys on YouTube. I definitely put it out there on Instagram, but I just may not have been feeling getting on the camera. But last time I went to Great Escape, they were having a comic book sale. And I got the 3rd appearance of Wolverine. Now this is last time. This is not my current trip. So I've had a great, and they let me put this on sale. I got this book, definitely a mid-grade. It's not beat up though, respectively. Very, I would say it's as high as a 7.0, 7.5 quality. Now, I'm not a grader. I'm not somebody that slabs books, but that's just my casual grading estimation. It's somewhere around a 7.0 or 7.5. And I think after the sale, I paid like 86 bucks for that comic book. So, Great Escape rules. And let's get into what I found this year at the Great Escape. All right, guys. First up, I got a random issue here, but it just goes in, to my run. I think of Volume 3 of Mr. Miracle. This is issue number 2. So I now have the first 2 issues of Volume 3. I believe that volume is only like 7 issues, so it's just something. If I run into it for $1, I'll pick it up, as I did that issue. Not something I'm trying to pay retail or $2 or $3 for. You got all the time in the world to hunt down Volume 3. Next, I picked this up for $1. This is something I wanted to read when it was released on the shelves. I just love the fact that the Justice League International characters were used a lot in 2024. And when I saw this at Great Escapes dollar bin sale, I had to pick it up. It's a square bound of DC's How to Lose a Guy Gardner in 10 Days. A play off the Kate Hudson and I think Matthew McConaughey romantic comedy, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Next up, I got Legion of Bloom. This is a Lobo appearance buy right here. Don't really care about the story. I'll show you guys exactly where Lobo is at. If you're going to chase down appearances for a character, which I think is the ultimate form of collecting a character, you're going to have to put up with stuff like this. Lobo is right here in this bottom panel, and that's it. That's why I bought the book. Probably would have passed on it at full retail, but couldn't resist the opportunity to pick it up for $1, knowing it's going towards my life's work of collecting Lobo's appearance history and then eventually maintaining Lobo's appearance history. All right, next up, I'm just going to run through a string of random issues, things that I found interesting, things I've always wanted to purchase, or run fillers, what have you. So next up, I have Booster Gold number 3. So now I have the first 3 issues of Volume 1 of Booster Gold. And I was more prone to picking these random issues up because I'm really trying to be hyper-focused in my purchasing right now. But, a lot of you probably resonate with this. When you're in a dollar bin sale, you lower your focus. You broaden your focus, I guess I should say. And it's easier to allow yourself to spend that $1 on a book you just may not have been dying to have. Next up, a book that I never thought I'd see in the American wild. This is a book I thought I'd have to buy on eBay. This is Miami Hotline Wildlife number 1. This is a comic book. Either the video game is based on this or this is based on the video game. I don't know which came first, but I love Miami Hotline. And I want to read this comic, and I hope there's more comics. I hope I enjoy this. And I hope it ties into the video game and kind of makes the experience more fulfilling. And just really cool that I was able to pick up a Behemoth comic book in an American store. I think Behemoth is Eastern European. I'm not sure if they're quite Russian, but I think they're over there in the eastern side of Europe where Behemoth comes from. Next up at Rick's, I think I paid full retail for this, but that's okay. I didn't pay over, because this series right here is fairly sought after. I think the value just does not come down on this run, and it's a run I'm collecting every cover of, and I eventually plan to read it. This is the latest run of not the latest run. This is the like 2012-ish run of Mr. Miracle Tom King. Shout out to 22 Comics. I know Tom King's your favorite writer. Definitely would recommend you reading Mr. Miracle since you love Tom King so much, 22. And getting a single digit for $3.99 is okay with me. I was okay with spending that money on that book. I think I got that one at Rick's Comic City. Next up, I picked a random issue up of Enigma number 1. Now, I had the opportunity at the Great Escape dollar sale to complete the whole run. However, I kept myself in check with this issue. Enigma, when I got through with the Sandman Volume 2 Omnibus, I found myself getting really hot and heavy for Vertigo, and Enigma was something I was interested in, and again had the opportunity to complete the whole run in the sale. And if I end up liking that character, liking that book, then I'll probably be kicking myself that I didn't get the whole run. However, for money's sake, I just decided, let's take number 1 and try it out. Because if I don't like Enigma, I'll thank myself that I don't have 6 issues of something I don't care about. So that's why I did that. And then next up I have Dead Boy Detectives number 6. Picked it up because it's $1. And eventually a very long-term goal I have, kind of post my Wolverine and Lobo goals, I want to have all of the Morpheus Sandman material, all of Sandman Volume 2, and every single issue of the Sandman universe. Probably not going to cover collect it because there's so many covers, so many series in the Sandman universe, but it's something I want to collect and have read and enjoy. Next up, I got a chance to dive into American Flag, which oddly enough, American Flag, I'm seeing less and less and less of in dollar minutes. It's either because I'm collecting American Flag and I'm more aware of it these days, and I'm needing less and less issues, so that's either the thing, or people are genuinely interested in American Flag, and I highly doubt anybody besides me cares about or is collecting American Flag unless they're above like the age of 45. But picked up several issues of American Flag. It's a series I'm trying to collect. It just kind of reminds me of Hitman and that whole vibe with Hitman, kind of Hitman before Hitman, if you will. That's issue number 4. This is issue number 6. I've read the first issue to kind of try it out, and it does seem like it's for me. I like the humor, I like the art, I like the concept, and so when I complete the series, that's one thing I'd like to do is read it. This is issue number 7. I believe I got these all for $1 at Riggs Comic City. This is issue number 14. And issue number 17 right here. It's American Flag, a First Comics 80s independent comic book from the 80s. So not very sought out, but something I enjoy collecting. All right, next up, I completed a mini-series from Spawn, something I don't think I've read. I've read the before and after issues of Spawn that coincide with this miniseries. I just don't think I actually, if I did read it, I read it illegally online, but I made up for it. I bought the comics. I own them. And I'm kind of in limbo with Spawn right now. I at the point, I don't think I want to per se downsize my collection. I just want to make a lot of room for what I want to collect and refocus what my desires and goals and aspirations are with my collection. And Spawn is one of those things I'm kind of on the fence on. Do I really want to pursue completing the single issue run of Spawn? When I'm reading the compendiums, they're much cheaper. They're way more accessible to read. I just don't know how I feel about my single issue collection of Spawn right now. But this says something. I did complete Angela. This is Angela number 1. This is Angela number 2. And this is Angela number 3. Now, I'm going to spoil a little bit of it for you. I'm not going to give the entire details, but Spawn, Al Simmons does die somewhere in the middle of the first 50 issues. It caught me off guard. I was like, this is weird, because I know he dies and comes back around issue 250. Goes to the afterlife, teams up with Angela, and this whole 3-issue miniseries deals with those events, and of course comes back to life later on. But yeah, glad to have completed that miniseries, since it does. I really like that the miniseries tie into the main story of Spawn. They're not just separate offshoots, which I thought for a long time they were, so I never bothered collecting them. But now that I know most, if not all, of these Spawn miniseries, besides like Spawn Kills the Image Universe or whatever, they all connect with the main solo Spawn ongoing. Next up, probably an impulse buy here, I won't lie. However, I do want to get the first appearance of these two characters, and I'm slowly finding myself wanting to collect nostalgia comic books. And what I mean by that is comics based on like cartoons and pop. Let me see if I can use my words right. Pop culture that I was into as a kid, and so this kind of fits into that. In that dollar bin sale, I found a slew of Ren and Stimpy comic books. I don't have issue 1 yet. I can go half a mile down the road to Total Nostalgia here. They've got like 3 or 4 copies of issue number 1, and I want to get one that's completely sealed and have that locked away, and then I want to get one that's loose, and they have 2 different versions of the issue. So eventually I'll just make the trip and put it in the PC. But for now, this jumps me off with the Ren and Stimpy Show comic book from Marvel. This is issue number 8. This is issue number 9. Now, because of how I was raised, I felt a certain way about Ren and Stimpy growing up. I didn't understand it, didn't resonate. It was way too young for Ren and Stimpy, I think. It just made me real uncomfortable. I hated seeing the 2 characters torture each other. I was just a very sensitive child back then. And so I stayed away from Ren and Stimpy. But as I grow older, as I'm learning about Ren and Stimpy, its impact on pop culture, its impact on animation, the subliminal adultness in it, the controversy surrounding the creator, I'm intrigued. So that's just kind of why I'm gravitating to Ren and Stimpy, not having been a childhood fan of the show. I did want a Stimpy doll. I will say that. That's probably something I'll hunt down in the future, getting a Stimpy plushie. I remember those. This is issue number 10. This is issue number 11. Issue number 13. And I don't know if the creator had anything to do with these comics. I'm sure, based on his personality and learning about the kind of person the creator was, I'm sure he fought for copyright, royalties, I should say. But I don't know if he actually worked on this comic or just let Marvel assume those duties. This is issue 15. Issue 18. Issue 24. Issue 25. Issue 26. This is the Ren and Stimpy Show Interactive Special. They don't spell it right, so I had to read it phonetically, if you will. This is the Ren and Stimpy Show Powered Toastman Special. I've seen this on eBay. I think this is the first appearance of Toastman, and glad to have gotten it for $1, not paying that eBay retail. And this is the Ren and Stimpy Show Special issue number 3. Now, normally I like to, when I'm pulling stuff in succession or run fillers or whatever, here lately, to help myself stay more disciplined and hyper focused on what I'm purchasing, not make hunts so expensive. I've implemented a mini rule of if I can't get like a straight string of issues, I won't pick it up. And here I had sporadically picked up a bunch of Ren and Stimpy, but I just allowed myself the impulse buy because I rarely see Ren and Stimpy comics out in the wild, and that is a run I would like to complete in the future. So I just allowed myself to pick up what they had in their sale. Next up, I got a full entire mini-series of Green Lantern. Something I'm very excited about because this mini-series directly launches into the Green Lantern run. I don't know what volume it is. I think it's volume 4. It's either volume 3 or volume 4. It's the one right after the Gerard Jones 90s run that Rick Mars and Daryl Bates kind of ended with Kyle Rayner. This is kind of the starting point for the Geoff Johns era. I'm not saying that right. But yeah, here's Green Lantern Rebirth #1. And I'm so excited I've completed the run because I can read it and have myself prepped for the omnibus, since this is supposed to be kind of the primer, I believe. This is Rebirth #2. And Ethan Van Sciver, say what you want about Comicsgate, but you can't deny the man is a fantastic artist. I know he's controversial, but put your politics aside. Just appreciate the man's art. Green Lantern Rebirth #3. A lot of Spectre in here, I'm noticing. Really interested to see what Spectre has to do with all this. Green Lantern Rebirth #4. Green Lantern Rebirth #5. And to complete the run, Green Lantern Rebirth #6. You know, I'm growing with Green Lantern. He's another one of the, quote, babyface heroes that I'm getting into. I prefer Kyle Rayner. He just feels like the Green Lantern of my childhood. I feel like, based on the first comic book I ever owned, I would have probably been a Kyle Rayner fan back in the day. Probably, you know, if I had really gotten into comic books back then, and then, you know, considering how I'd be today, I really think I'd have a massive Kyle Rayner collection these days. And that Volume 2 run is something I hope to complete somewhere in the future. But however, I do love Hal Jordan. I consider him the mascot. When I think of the Green Lantern, I think of Hal Jordan. And actually, I don't even hate the movie. Is it the greatest movie of all time? No. But when I saw it for the first time 10, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, I thought it was trash, one of the worst comic book movies of all time. And then I went back and watched it a year or two ago, and there's things about it I do like. It had promise. It is not the worst comic book movie of all time. Are there things about it that are awful? Yes. Blake Lively's acting is garbage. The CGI mask is garbage. But it's not an awful movie if you just have an open mind and watch it. And then this was a cool pickup because this is an issue you never see for $1, so I had to pick it up. This is the Geoff Johns Green Lantern #1, a cover A, not a variant, in pretty solid condition. I mean, is it a huge Green Lantern key? No, but it is very critically acclaimed. It's the issue when you get into Green Lantern and you ask old heads, which run should I start with? You're almost, I mean, as long as you're not talking to somebody that only buys Silver Age or Bronze Age Green Lantern, you're going to get referred to this run. This is supposed to be the jumping on point for modern era Green Lantern, and it's really nice to find that #1 for $1. Will I hunt down the series? I don't know, but I do have that issue. I have the first issue of Atrocitus Larfe's blah 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 blah, the emotional spectrum in issue 25, and then I have Green Lantern 55, the cover A and the variant, because Lobo, duh. So I have several issues this run, just not sure I want to pursue the single issues when I'm planning to buy the omnibus at some point in the future. Now, this is a run I do plan on collecting and reading. This is the more recent Green Lantern run. I know they're doing something now that they're in DC All In, and Green Lanterns has had 2 volumes since this run, but this was like this is like the COVID era Green Lantern from Grant Morrison. Glad to finally find number 1. Found it for $1. I never see number 1 really out in the wild, even though I see this run all the time in the wild. And this run turned me on to Liam Sharp. That art is banging. I really like Liam Sharp. Definitely up there on my list of favorite artists. Picked up a couple Sandmans, and then we're going to go right into the word of the day. The word of the day is Wolverine. I picked up a lot of Wolverine at the Great Escape dollar sale, but we got to get through these first 3 Sandmans. I bit the bullet here at the second Great Escape location. Roseville? Is it Roseville? That is the second location, the smaller store, for those of you familiar with the 2 Great Escape stores in Nashville, Tennessee. I decided when we got to the second location, I would look for quality instead of quantity. So I bit the bullet and paid $11 for Sandman number 9. So that fills in, you know, a big hole. There, the single digits are the hardest to get your hands on. You know, if you're looking for bargains, that's where all the money and value is in Sandman. This is issue number 50. I thought I had issue 50, but I didn't have it logged, so I'm staying true to my CLZ app and picked up issue 50. And this is Sandman issue 54. So that completes my Sandman haul. And let's get into the word of the day, Wolverine. I think the one Wolverine comic I was actually looking for was the current run, issue number 1. I cannot find it. Obviously, it's been bought up or whatever. I did find a different current run of Wolverine, number 1. I rolled my eyes and I huffed and I puffed because I'm just not into the Ultimate Universe, but Marvel got me. Marvel got me, guys. I picked it up. It was cover A, paid full retail for it, off the shelf. I got it. Ultimate Wolverine number 1. I mean, I'm already collecting Ultimate Wolverine. I have the first appearance from of Ultimate Wolverine from Ultimate X-Men number 1. And then I picked up, I think, the only, quote, solo Ultimate Wolverine series in the Great Escape dollar sale. So why not get started with current, roll your eyes, Ultimate Wolverine. I picked up some volume 7 issues. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid collecting this specific run, because I really feel like over time this run is going to fall to the wayside and become dollar bin fodder, much like volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5. I mean, volume 6 are. But I'm still paying daggum full retail for this run. I paid more than cover price for these issues, but they had other issues that were $5.99, and I stayed away from those and purchased the $4.49 issues of Volume 7 Wolverine that I don't have. This is issue 31. I wish when I put down having a pull list again for like the 18th time that I had at least just maintained Volume 7 Wolverine. It would have been less expensive that way than it is now, unfortunately, you know. But here's Wolverine 34. All cover A's. I don't do variants with Wolverine unless it's just like a valuable variant and I just gotta have it. Like a Hulk 340. Wolverine 35. Wolverine 43. These unbagged Wolverines I did find for $1, and that got me excited. These 2 specific issues right here, this is Wolverine 45. Finding these issues for $1 really, they had literally thousands of comic books in their dollar bin sale at The Great Escape. Dozens of long boxes. And when I found those 2 issues, it just kicked my drive for the hunt into gear. I was just combing every box. I almost made it to the finish line, and I wanted to initially go to the finish line and have looked through every single long box in the sale. But I think I tapped out with like 10 long boxes to go. I know my buddies were blowing me up, ready to go. And I wasn't having much luck with Wolverine, specifically the solo books, after I came across those 2 books. But man, the hunt was on when I found those 2 issues, hoping I could find more Volume 7 Wolverine for $1. I picked up various what-ifs, one-shots, and mini-series of Wolverine. Did not find, again, much solo ongoing Wolverine, but that's fine. I don't know if I'm going to be a completionist about one-shots and what-ifs with Wolverine, but I'm definitely open to purchasing them and having them in the collection nonetheless. This is What If Wolverine battled Conan the Barbarian. It's a little interesting find there. Price tag says $3.99, but I got it in the dollar bin sale. This is What If featuring Wolverine. This looks like it's in the era of Volume 3. What If featuring Wolverine. And then I don't know if I have picked up this book. This is definitely Volume 2 era Wolverine. I have a -1, and this reminds me of -1. But for some reason, I don't think I have this logged. I think I checked the CLZ app to see if this is logged. I checked it against issue -1 to make sure this isn't the same issue, and I don't believe it is. So, Flashback Wolverine. This may be another issue for Volume 1 or Volume 2. One of those very niche issues that kind of side branches off of Volume 2, but nevertheless, it's in the collection, whatever it is. This is Wolverine Evolution, Mark Teixeira. Goodness, you can tell it looks like an Image comic book from the 90s. Evolution, I should say. Then I picked up Wolverine Max #1, a run I definitely want to collect here. Had to pick it up for $1. I didn't find any more Wolverine Max in the dollar bin sale, but that's cool. It's always nice to find #1 when you're kicking off a hunt for a series. And Wolverine Max is definitely something I want in the collection. Found this random issue. This is actually some decent John Romita Jr. I'm a big-time John Romita Jr. hater. Got a little gatefold cover here. This is Ghost Rider, Wolverine, and Punisher. Some kind of a square-bound goodness thing. I guess it wraps around. I'll show you guys the whole entire thing right here. If I can get it in the camera, I hope you guys can see the whole thing. But yeah, picked that up for $1. Decent John Romita Jr. art. I wish he would go back to ripping off his dad. I just can't stand the way he draws everybody with the square jaws and the mongoloid eyebrows and unibrows and just the rudimentary images he puts out these days. I just can't stand it. Party Foul kicked off the armchair cushion. This is What The featuring Wolverina. So this is like a spoof comic of Wolverine. It's still a Marvel Comics issue though. Just something fun to put in the Wolverine collection for sure. Then I picked up, again, I didn't follow my rule here with this mini-series. Didn't pick up the entire lot, but I went ahead and picked it up anyways, because what the heck, they're all $1. And I think I may only need one more issue. I need when I get these logged, I'll know how many more issues I need to complete this run. But this is Wolverine and the Punisher Revelation. This is during the Marvel Knights era, so this ties in with Volume 3, I believe. The early 2000s era of Marvel. Wolverine and the Punisher Revelation number 3. Did I say this was number 3? It's issue number 1. Wolverine and the Punisher number 4. Got kind of an anime style here. I'm not really a fan of the art, but not buying it for the art, buying it for the story, buying it to say I got it in the Wolverine collection. All right, next up we have a slew of completed Wolverine miniseries. This one's intriguing. This is Wolverine, Hercules, Myths, Monsters, and Mutants number 1. Frank Thierry, I think that's his name, Frank Thierry, did that one. Did the story anyways. Wolverine, Hercules, Myths, Monsters, and Mutants number 2. I really like the colorists on this series. The colors, the attention to detail are magnificent on this series. Wolverine, Hercules, Myths, Monsters, and Mutants number 3. Wolverine, Hercules, Myths, Monsters, and Mysteries number 4. This completes the run. And it's cool that I'll have that ready to go. Got them all for $1 and they're $2.99 cover price. Can't beat that, right? Next up, a dollar bin mainstay, and I started picking them out variously in the sale. And I just thought, I see this all the time, and I pulled them out. I said, I'll put them back if I can't complete the run. If I can't complete the run, I'll just put it back. But I was able to complete the run. This is Wolverine Gambit Victims. I see this miniseries all the time, and I'm glad to have knocked it out. Glad to get it off the lid. This looks like John Romita Jr. This art is so bad. Wolverine Gambit Victims. This is the October issue. All new X-Men special event. So this probably ties into the 90s X-Men. Oh, it's Tim Sale is the art. Well, okay, there's different artists because the art kind of changed. No, it's all Tim Sale, I think. That can't be Tim Sale, that issue 2. It looks so much different than this, but this is Wolverine Gambit Victims, the November or issue 3 issue. And Wolverine Gambit Victims, No Point of Return. Tim Sale redeemed himself for this issue, this cover here. So nice to have this. I'm sure that's definitely going to be one of those mini-series where when I read it, there's going to be some context I'm not aware of. It's probably going to be confusing, but I think it'll be a fun little adventure nonetheless. And then we're moving into these final 3 or 4 mini-series that I've wanted for a while, that I see all the time in the wild, but I just can never seem to get the full lot of the mini-series. And I was able to do it this time in this dollar bin sale. This is Wolverine and the Punisher number 1. This definitely coincides with volume 2. Definitely got that late 80s aesthetic. Wolverine and the Punisher number 2. Did I say that was issue 2? That's number 1. This is issue number 2. Wolverine and the Punisher number 3. This completes that mini-series. Glad to have it. Excited to read it. Get it logged into the collection. Oh, the books are slipping. Let me do some camera magic. We'll be right back.
What's this place called?
This is, I believe, called Food Libraries. Food
Library.
It's called a grocery store, you douchebags!
Alright. Next up, we have probably the most common miniseries of Wolverine I see in the dollar bins. I always see like 1 or 2 issues. I never see the whole run. It's something that I pick up over and over and over again, and because I don't have the full lot at one time, I just put it back. I got it at the Great Escape sale. I reeled in the big fish. Real proud to have this in the collection. The Wolverine Saga, book number 1, Beginnings. Not been a white whale or anything, but just been that stubborn fish in the pond I couldn't seem to reel in and finally get him in the boat. Book 2, The Animal Unleashed. Book 3, The Man Reborn, John Romita Jr. But this is old John Romita Jr. and it's not that bad. I don't mind 80s John Romita Jr. Or 90s John Romita Jr. I don't know what year this came out. And then book 4, The Hero Triumphant. Completes the Wolverine saga. So when I see it in the wild again, I'll know that I have it. I can pass with confidence. Got them all for $1. $3.95 US on the cover, which is huge for the late 80s or early 90s. All square mounds, lots of story, and spent $4. Bought 4 books for the price of 1. Big win. All right, these last 5 books, one of them is a miniseries, probably the number 1 miniseries I've been wanting to hunt down. I mentioned earlier what it was, and then I got a random one-shot I wasn't aware of, and this ties into Wolverine Volume 3. So this goes into my Volume 3 collection. I'll just go ahead and do the one-shot here. This is Wolverine Dark Reign, The List, the one-shot. This maybe officially completes Volume 3. Wasn't aware of this one-shot, so I know there's a Dark Reign arc in Volume... Is it Volume 3? Excuse me. It's Volume 4, I believe. It's the Jason Aaron run. No, it's Volume 3. Excuse me. It is Volume 3. I remember now. Volume 3 is the 90-something issue run. Volume 4 is 20 issues long and then goes into like 318, 319, 320. Yeah, okay. I'm remembering my runs. So that maybe officially, technically completes Wolverine Volume 3. Now that I have that one shot to complete that arc. And then the granddaddy of them all, no, not big Wolverine keys, no, not Wolverine fillers to help me complete a run, but definitely a mini-series I was looking forward to. I got real excited when I found them. This is Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk number 1, and I think, excluding the very current run of Ultimate Wolverine, I think this is as close as you get to a solo run of Wolverine in the Ultimate Universe from the early 2000s. This is Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk number 2. Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk number 3. And I don't know if I can say this with confidence. There may be 6 issues in this miniseries, but I'm fairly certain there's only 4 Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulks. And I've looked up lots on eBay before, so nice to get them all for $1 and not have to pay that eBay premium. This is Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk, issue number 4. And that is the 2025 Best Friend Birthday Trip haul that officially kicks off comic book season for me. Not sure what I'm going to be doing this year as far as the hobby goes, but stay tuned. I'm going to do a little jump clip and I'll do a channel update. Alright guys, if you made it this far, you made it past the jump clip, God bless you for sticking around. I know this video was long, I know I rambled, but getting back in my groove on the camera again, feeling confident again, just excited to participate in the community again, and I hope going forward that I will get back into the community and participate. I still get notifications from you guys the mental hasn't been there. The desire to be in the hobby and collect just hasn't been there. But I was never going to leave, never wanted to leave, and I promised you in the last video it would not be the last time you saw me. I'm keeping true to that promise. So, channel updates. I don't know what's going to happen going forward. I'm not going to be in this room by, let's say, the fall. Realistically, the spring or summer is when I'm no longer going to be in this room using this background. I'm going. I don't want to say too much about my personal life, but I will be going back to the year one days of the channel. I'll be going back to my childhood bedroom and that closet for the foreseeable future, which sucks because I'm not going to have the cool decorations and the cool posters up, but it is what it is. My life is evolving and changing, and I welcome the change. I'm going to adapt. I'm going to overcome, and I'm going to come out on top of all this for sure. There is a long-term plan. I will eventually get back into my own space again. I'll eventually, have a space again for my collection and my hobbies and my passions. But for the foreseeable future, yeah, we're just going to take a step back and reevaluate and get my ducks in a row. And so you'll see this room go away at some point. I think my goal for the channel, I don't know about the hobby and purchasing comic books, but at least my goal for the channel, I want to get back, just dip my feet back in the water once a month. If I can just do once a month, that's cool for me. Pretty soon I will do the 2024 recap and 2025 goals. I do have some 2025 goals, but a lot of that is dependent on just how my financials look in a few months. Because if my financials look pretty good in a couple months, I plan on knocking out a huge roadblock to collecting Lobo's appearance history. It'll be a little gift to myself. But yeah, that'll be coming in the future, in the near future. Maybe Wednesday or Thursday of this coming week. I'll try to post that video and use it as an opportunity to look forward and get excited about the hobby, get back into the community, participate again, reconnect with you guys. I know some of you guys have reached out, and I really do feel like some of you in the community are actual real friends. I would actually hang out with some of you guys. I have hung out with one of you in real life, and I don't want to lose those friendships. They weren't, some people are meant to be in your life for a season, some people are meant to be in your life for the rest of your life, and I understand that, but there are friendships that I've made here, and I want to maintain them, and I want to keep them strong for as long as I can. And I definitely, as I pursue the life I want to live, and I want to pursue the man I want to be, I definitely see myself being much more available for this hobby in the future. Definitely going to have a lot more opportunity to explore and get out of my comfort zone and travel. Definitely want to broaden my scope with the whole convention thing. Don't know what I'm doing with conventions this year. Probably going to Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo, so I'll probably do something on that come April or May. Chris Claremont, hopefully if he doesn't cancel again, I'm finally going to get Chris Claremont to sign my Wolverine Volume 1 #1. I have Joe Rubenstein's signature on there, and then I'll need to get that triple sign somewhere in the future, get Frank Miller to sign my #1, and then send that bad boy in for a grade. That'll be fun. So yeah, probably doing Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. I want to try and make room for Memphis Comic Expo this year. Just decided to decline the opportunity to go last year. The financials weren't there, and I didn't want to spend the vacation time on it. So yeah, I'd like to make time for that. In July, there is some kind of a toy expo in Huntsville, Alabama. I want to make that. I want to keep my eye on Chattanooga and Nashville and see what they're doing with comic conventions. I may go down to Iron City Comic Con, but really just to hang out with 22 Comics, not really to attend the convention. May just go to Sasquatch Comics with 22 that day and not even pay the money to go in and complain about Iron City Comic Con and how the fact that it's not even really a comic convention. And then there's no bargains there. They don't do the dollar bin hunting at Iron City Comic Con. It's just not for me. But if you live in Alabama and you go to Iron City Comic Con and you enjoy it, that is okay with me. You go and enjoy it and have fun until your heart's content at Iron City Comic Con. I think Mississippi has a couple conventions here and there. I'm really trying to try. I'd like to make, if I can make Heroes Con this year. I believe that's the one in North Carolina. I'd like to go up there and see Super Russ 9000, get to meet Bub's World. I think Metarog goes up there. Mark from Legion Comics goes up there. DJ Lynx goes there. Who else? Oh, that big Spawn fan from Philadelphia. I can't remember his name. Durs. Collecting with Durs goes up there. Just tons of people from the community. I can't name everybody, but so many people from the community go there. Naman Ramen. I call him Naman Ramen, but Naman, the comic bookworm, I think is his YouTube name. He attends Heroes Con, so I'd like to get up there and meet the greater comic book community and just reestablish myself and reconnect again with you guys. And that's really the channel updates. I mean, you can look forward to comic convention content this year because I plan on getting out there, getting out there and discovering myself again and pursuing my passions and hobbies is something that I need to hold true to myself. I need to live it. If I'm going to be the interesting person I want to be, I need to have an interesting life, and pursuing passions and hobbies is definitely part of that, and I don't want to let go of the community. Letting go of the comic books themselves is a whole other story, but I'm not going to let go of this community. I thank you guys for continuing to watch me, support me, and stay in touch with me on Instagram. Even though I don't post comic book content really, I'm definitely a bottom tier collector these days, for sure. Bottom tier YouTuber these days. But yeah, there's just a plethora of opportunity and excitement going forward. I hope you're along with me on the journey. Thank you for watching this very, very long video. Thank you for putting up with probably the poor editing, the side trails, the rabbit trails, blah, 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 blah. Until next time, guys.